Hey everyone, I think I'm live with my McDonald's Diet Coke. I don't normally go live on my Facebook page, but I figured that everybody probably needed to hear what we were going to talk about today. So let me get situated here. My husband's probably in the basement going, what is she doing a Facebook Live on her personal page? All right, so I normally go live in the She Finds Joy Facebook group. But I felt like this was a topic that is really relevant to everyone. So because of that, I actually put some mascara on today, and I put a little lipstick on, and I blew dry my hair. So I'm ready for all of you. As you know, many of you who are following along in the Facebook group or on Instagram, we're hosting a 3-hour workshop tomorrow, which is really all about the science of happiness and well-being, and how we can become active participants in, a meaningful life that feels really good to us a lot of the time. And as most of you know, I've studied the topic of happiness for about 15 years, maybe 20. And I don't believe in toxic positivity. So this is not about butterfly, sunshine, and unicorns. It's not about walking around with a smile on your face all of the time and pretending like everything is wonderful. That's not really what happiness and well-being are about. That being said, many of us also live our life on default, which means we just let life happen to us rather than being an active participant in life. And what I mean by that is being willing to do the work on ourselves. I feel like my personal opinion is that we should always be doing the work on ourselves. Why do we want to keep repeating old patterns or reliving out old traumas or old behaviors? And so I know for me personally, I think that I will forever be on the journey of personal growth, and I will always have a counselor in my life who is guiding me along the way, because I also believe that this work is too hard to do alone. And so we have to remove the shame and stigma around hiring a coach or having a counselor in our life, because otherwise your life just stays where it is, because most of us don't have the ability to shift our life on our own. We have to have somebody else kind of coaching us along the way. But I want to give you all the happiness research just because I think it's so intriguing to understand it and to see what really constitutes and is attributed, counts towards our happiness and well-being. And I don't know about you all, but I find that happiness and well-being are a topic that is really at the forefront right now. Oh my God, there's a fly that's making me crazy. I can't handle it. Hold on. And get my pillow out so that I can get. I'm not supposed to be doing this on a Facebook Live, but I literally am like squirrel off of up. And if I get distracted at all, I can't concentrate. So, all right. So anyways, when we're looking at happiness and a fulfilling life, one that feels good to us a lot of the time, then what we have to think of happiness as kind of like a pie chart. And so all of us have what's called a set baseline happiness level. So maybe my set baseline happiness level is here, and maybe your set baseline happiness level is here, which means that good things can happen to us. Like maybe we get a new job, or we get a new house, we buy a new car, we get into a new relationship, whatever it is, buy a new purse or a new pair of shoes, and our happiness level does go up for a short period of time. And then it always returns to baseline. It always comes back to baseline. So maybe you get that bump in like happiness for a couple of hours, a couple of days, a couple of months, a couple of years, but then it always resets back to your default. Now, what's interesting from the research and the neuroscience out of Harvard University and the University of Pennsylvania, where this has been studied extensively, is the same is true for when we endure really hard things. For most of us, the happiness research says that we can endure loss, we can endure trauma, we can endure illness, we can endure challenges and adversities, and that for most of us, after a period of time, we will reset back to our baseline happiness level. Now, if you're a little bit like me, you kind of fight with the research, because I kind of feel like there are certain things that could happen to me that I would never regain my happiness level again. But all I have to do is think about people that I know in my own life who have suffered what seems to be the unimaginable. And most of those people somehow go on and live very joy-filled, meaningful lives. And so I see the evidence that does back up the research that says that our brain has this ability to bounce back. And I know a few years ago, I was reading Viktor Frankl's book, Man's Search for Meaning. And Viktor Frankl was, if I remember the details correctly, but he was in the Holocaust. He was in a concentration camp, and he lost his pregnant wife, his mother, father, and sister. All of them passed away, and he felt like he had lost almost everything. But he said that the one thing that they could not take away from him were that they could not take away the thoughts that he chose to have in his mind. And so, he endured some of the worst atrocities that a person can endure. And yet Viktor Frankl went on to live this extraordinary life. So there is evidence of this all around us. And there's still the fly that's making me crazy. Okay, I'm going to try to use my skills of resiliency here to keep going. So you might be asking, well, how do I know what my default happiness level is, or where does it come from? And I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're joining or you're watching, I'd love to hear your comments about what we're talking about today. Because I'm going to be talking about all of this on tomorrow's workshop. I'm doing a 3-hour workshop that is centered all around happiness habits, well-being, and self-care. And we have hundreds of people who have signed up for that workshop. Some of them are going to be there live. Some of them can't be there live, so they're going to actually watch it on demand because you get access to it for 2 weeks. So you can watch it on your own. But it's a 3-hour workshop really on how to reclaim our happiness and well-being. And so I'm going to be discussing how to do that on tomorrow's 3-hour workshop. So this is kind of why this is on my mind, because I'm working on the presentation for it, kind of putting on the final touches today. So what we know when we're trying to figure out what your happiness level is that if you think of your happiness as a pie chart, what we know is that 50% of your long-term happiness is genetic, which means it comes from your mom or your dad or a mixture of both. And sometimes when I'm on this stage and I'm telling the happiness research and I tell the crowd that 50% of their happiness is genetic, I will literally see like 80% of their heads drop down, and some of them are thinking, I'm so screwed. But it's true. Like, some of us are born with a happiness disposition. Some of us are born to kind of walk through life, and we tend to focus more on a lot of the good versus maybe seeing all the negative. And then others are kind of born into a genetic framework where we have to work harder at happiness. And there's no shame in that, right? It's the same reason that some of us can look at a McDonald's French fry and gain 15 pounds, and some of us can eat McDonald's French fries every day. So the happiness research says that 50% of your long-term happiness is genetic. But stay here with me, because that's not the whole pie. The fly's going to have to go. That is stealing my happiness right now. I've got to find the fly. Hold on. Oh my God, it's right there. Okay. The fly is dead. I don't really like killing animals, but that one had to go. Usually I try to catch them and release them, but that one got on my nerves. Okay, so if 50% of your long-term happiness is genetic, here's what else we know from the research. We know that 10% and only 10% of your long-term happiness comes from your external circumstances. So what do we mean by external circumstances? Well, we mean what kind of car you drive, what kind of home you live in. If you make $75,000 or $75 million, you're not going to get a big jump in happiness. An external circumstances, are you married, single, divorced, or widowed? Believe it or not, the research says that counts only for about 10% of long-term happiness. Do you need to lose 5 pounds, or do you need to lose 50 pounds? Not that we don't want everybody to be healthier, because we do, but like, so many times people will be like, well, if I lose 10 pounds, then I'll be happy. Or if I lose 20 pounds, then I'll be happy. And you keep putting your happiness off for some long-term goal. And so what we know is that only about 10% of your long-term happiness levels come from your external circumstances. Yet every single one of us, including me, keeps working on those external circumstances, right? If I can if I can just shift this, if I can just achieve that, if we could just earn this kind of money, if we could just get this bigger home, if I could just land this better job, if I could just find the right relationship. And so we put all of our energy into things that really only add up to about 10% of our long-term happiness levels. And I'm completely guilty of it too. I have a vision board right here across from my desktop. And on my vision board is a lake house. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with wanting beautiful things. I live in a big, beautiful home. There's nothing wrong with enjoying beautiful things. It's when we think that those are the very things that are going to create tons of happiness for us. And so, on my vision board, I still have a lake home because I'm convinced that it's going to contribute to more than 10% of my happiness levels, even though the research says that it's not, unless maybe it brings me tons of peace and tranquility, then perhaps it will. All right. So if 50% of your long-term happiness is genetic and 10% is your external circumstances, that leaves 40% of the pie left, my friends. And that's the part that I've concentrated on for the last 15 years. Because regardless of your genetics and regardless of your external circumstances, all human beings have the ability to increase their happiness levels by up to 40%. That's the part I'm going to be teaching in tomorrow's workshop. And I have posted the links. There's still time to sign up if you want to sign up. If you can't make it, it's 9 to 12 Central Standard Time. If you can't make it, you can get the course on demand for the next 2 weeks. You can watch it at your own leisure. But I would love if you could be there live. I know we have hundreds of people who are signed up for it. And a lot of them are going to do the on demand only because they can't be there at the live part. So that's not a problem, but that's the whole part that we're going to be working on tomorrow, because that 40% that's up for grabs means that each and every one of us have the power. We have the ability to actually increase our happiness levels. And that has to do with our thoughts, our behaviors, and our actions. Thoughts, behaviors, and actions. And that's what we're going to be working on in tomorrow's workshop. Because, this is my jam. Not that I have it all figured out, because I am a total work in progress. I will always be a work in progress. I am always working on trying to attain a better version of myself, even though I'm still screwing up. I'm still making mistakes. I still have struggles. Like, that's just being a human being. We're always going to find ourselves back in the gutter at times. But do we have like a set of happiness habits that are available to us that will help us get out of the gutter quicker? I guess that's what I've noticed in my own life, is that now that I have a set of happiness habits, I don't stay in the gutter as long as I used to. I get out a little bit quicker. And that's what I want to teach each and every one of you. So if you're interested, just click on the links below. We have some businesses that have signed their employees up. We have schools that have signed up their entire district. And then we also have just individuals who have signed up. And so anyways, you get 3 hours of happiness coaching with me tomorrow, where I just do real talk. I'm not going to give you bullshit, because bullshit doesn't work. And let's be honest, I was never a cheerleader, so I'm not going to blow fluff up your ass. It's going to be like hardcore truths. I'm going to do real talk with you. I'm going to coach your butts tomorrow so that we actually can start to see the results in our life. So you get 3 hours of coaching with me. You do get a certificate if that's important to you for 3 hours of professional development. You get the replay for 2 weeks after. And you get to leave feeling like you have some strategies in your toolbox so that you can maybe take a step forward in your life. Because that's what I want for all of us. I want all of us to do the work on ourselves. It's really easy to not do the work. It's really courageous to do the work. Because when we do the work on ourselves, then we change the trajectory of our life. And that's what I want for all of us. So anyways, I'd love to hear from you. I'm going to hop on here. I can't really read comments right now because I'm using a software that I can't read comments until the video is over. But I'll jump back in and I'll check out the comments and see if you all had any questions. Oh, I see a few. I do see Sunshine. Hi, Sunshine. Or is it Sarah? It's Sarah Sunshine. Hey, Sarah. I actually know somebody named Sunshine is their first name. What a beautiful name that would be. That's a great last name too. So I'm glad you're here, but I can see one comment, but I'll be able to check on some others once I leave the studio. So anyways, I'm glad you guys were here. Have a great day.